Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda, Chic777, and today I'm coming at you with, as you can see, a layout that I created. It's that time of year again, and I am going to try out once again for the Prima design team. I am hopeful, but I don't have my hopes up because there is so much talent out there. It is incredible, and I have been seeing some of the blog posts that people have posted on Facebook for their entries for the Prima design team, and I'm like, oh, well, there went my chances, but I can't not try. I have to at least, be at peace that I did try. They had to look, but, maybe I'm just not what they're looking for. And if I'm lucky, fingers crossed, maybe I am what they're looking for. But I always seem to do, home decor type projects. And I know Prima loves a lot of layouts. And I love to do layouts, don't get me wrong. But I just always seem to gravitate kind of more toward the home decor type, but I wanted to make sure that I had a layout, amongst the part of my entry for Prima to see that I can do them. They turn out a little bit chunky, a little bit layered, because you guys know I'm like the layering fanatic when it comes to my projects, but I can't stray away from tradition, right? So when I created this layout, I wanted to make it as still be in my arena of home decor items. So I put it on chipboard so that it would be really sturdy, because I do have one of those 12 by 12 shadow box type frames, so I could put it in that and put it on my wall. The collections that I used here, I pulled out some Prima engraver collection, and I pulled out some stationer's desk collection. I pulled out a little bit of Salvage District. I don't have papers yet of Salvage District, although I love that collection, but I do have some of the journaling cards and some of the embellishments from that collection. I've got some flowers I pulled out from the French Riviera collection. And then, of course, I have lots of embellishments, from the junkyard findings, the Shabby Chic treasures, some of the old wonderful staples of Prima. So let's get started. I will bring this up into view and kind of give you a closer up look at it, and then explain some of the more items in detail. Just an FYI, I printed my picture out on a transparency, so I'll probably be moving my project back and forth a little bit to kind of help, eliminate the glare a little better. Okay, so let's bring it on in. There we go, a little bit of glare. Bring it in this way a little bit so you can kind of see some of the layering going on. I had a lot of fun with this. I decided I didn't really want to think too much when it came to creating this layout. I just got all the pieces together that I knew I kind of wanted to put on it and tried to make it fit. And the only inspiration I really had that gave me the idea for this layout is a card I saw on Pinterest, and it had a bunch of it was Shabby Chic, beautiful card, and it had a couple of different layers of torn fabrics through the center of the card. So that's kind of the theme I carried through with these laces on the layout, and that was really kind of all I went for on this as far as inspiration. So what I did is I kind of layered down my papers, and before I layered down, I did some fun little techniques. I, of course, distressed all my edges. I sewed all my papers and even all my little bits and pieces of journaling cards and so forth. And I did Martha Stewart punch in a couple of areas, 3 areas, one here, one under here, and then one up here, and then underneath I kind of rolled it forward, and underneath I have some just some plain like aqua and kind of tan cardstock that I put underneath those areas that were rolled up, just to give it a little swatch of color coming through. Once I got all my papers kind of layered down, my base papers, the 1, 2, 3, 4 papers, then I went in with the Prima brick wall stencil, and I did a little stenciling here and a little bit of stenciling in this corner, and a little bit of stenciling right up in here. And I used the Prima modeling paste for that. And then when it was still wet, I had some beautiful teal glitter glass from Renee Bouquets that I pushed into the modeling paste, and then I heated it with the heat tool so it would kind of puff up a little bit. Okay. Let's see. So let's kind of start at the top. Right up here, I've got, this is a Prima, the doily die that they came out with a few years ago. I cut out one of those. And I used Prima Color Bloom Spray. Let me see. I used two of them that kind of have a teal look to it. The Glistening Waves. And then this one is actually the soft teal. So I kind of used both of these to, some of it after I laid my papers down, I splattered them onto a little bit, which you can't really see a whole lot. And then some of them I used to color some of the flowers with. I used it on this doily to give it a little bit of kind of just a real soft teal look to it. And then I went to town on layering. I used the Salvage District. I really love that collection. I just got some packages of journaling cards and then embellishments. I've got some paper on order, but I just love the aquas in it, and then you can go with pinks. It's such a neutral paper line, and I just love working with it. You can really go with any colors on it. But I took some of the journaling cards and I cut them like in half. And layered them in here. I took some stationer's desk papers and I cut them in half. This is a piece from the Tales of You and Me collection. I've got it this way for a minute so you can see, and I layered it up on some chipboard so that it will kind of layer things up a little bit. Okay. And then I've got some Carta Bella So Noted collection, just a little bit with some of the polka dots in here. And a little bit with this aqua color that has a little bit of writing on it. And then this little piece right here. Okay. And I always love to, in a lot of my projects, put like noted on it, like, period, finished, so that's what I did here. So I cut that piece in half, and then this side has the pencil on it, so I thought that was fun. I sewed my picture on this transparency to this card here from the Tales of You and Me collection. It says Tales of Us up here. Okay. Among that layering, I have some corrugated cardboard in my stash. I got it out of actual box, a big long piece of really thin, flexible corrugated paper, and so I cut a piece of that out, sewed it as well. You can see a little bit of the sewing on there. In that, I layered some of Prima's floral trim here, and I think, let me look, it is Magnolia, the Magnolia floral trim. I love the floral trims they came out with not too long ago. So there is that. So I layered that right in here, and then I've got another piece kind of layered in here. And then I've got another piece kind of layered right over here. Okay, so once I kind of got this collection, this area in, then I started going to town with layering, my laces and stuff. All these laces was gifted to me by Gisela from Lavish Laces, and these came from her shop. This is a beautiful kind of ivory eyelet, and then this is a real pretty white eyelet type lace that's got like a aqua trim along the edges, and then this is a real pretty kind of crocheted lace, and I kind of layered that all up in through the center. And then on top of that, this little piece that's kind of wavy is a piece from the bottom of, I think this one might be from the Time Traveler's Memories or Stationer's Desk. It's the little strip along the bottom of the paper, but I cut that little strip off because I thought it would be just great as part of my title / journaling area. So, and I kind of, layered that across the top there. let's go over to this side. So then I started layering a bunch of embellishments and stuff over here. This beautiful flower is from Prima, one of the old flowers that has like the little feathers in it. Let me see the name of the flower. All of a sudden I'm not remembering. Here it is. Firebird, the Firebird collection in white. This is what it looks like, but it gets covered up quite a bit. And I used some of the Prima color bloom spray in the center of it just to get a little bit of an aqua kind of tone in there. You can kind of see that there. I've got Junkyard Findings Prima clock face, because you all know I love those Prima clock faces. I've got Rolled Roses from Prima, and it's from the I think I used a couple of different ones. It's from the Garden Fable collection and from the Debutante collection. This one's actually in white. It's white with a print on it, but I used the color bloom spray again just to color it. Let's see. This is from, this beautiful curly rose flower is from Frank Garcia's collection. And that is the French Riviera collection, and again I used a little bit of color bloom spray on that in the center of it. And then I've got some Wild Orchid Craft flowers here, some with a little bit of the teal color bloom spray. This is just a little spare parts piece. It looks like a little metal faucet. I've got some Prima Junkyard Findings, the metal heart gears kind of tucked in here, and another one tucked right here. Some of my flowers, I left the stems on it to give it a little more texture in here, as if this needed a little more texture, but that's what I did. I've got a Prima resin butterfly tucked in here. There's a little you could just see barely a little bit poking out, but a Prima resin frame here. And this is Prima. It's called the ship parts, metal ship parts, a little steering wheel here, kind of tucked in amongst those flowers. Also along the layout, I've got these beautiful brads. There's little floral brads here, and then I've got just some black, a little bit of aqua up here. Here's like a little white floral brad here, little resin flower. Another little white here, a little aqua resin flower. This is from the Salvage District, and it's their brads, and these are what they are. So I used some of those on the collection just to give it a little bit more of a kind of a whimsical touch. Okay. Under here, under the lace, I've got its Prima, it's a metal frame kind of tucked in here, and I used a little bit of the color bloom spray on top of that. And then I've got a Prima metal zipper pull here, and it says Love You on it. Okay, I'll come back to a few of the details down here in a minute. Down here at the bottom, when I was opening my package of the little Junkyard Findings heart gears, I thought, well, that's just kind of fun and whimsical. I cut off the top of the packaging, distressed it, sewed it. I used a little bit of the Prima gesso, white gesso, and kind of painted over the top to soften the black prints of the packaging a little bit, and I kind of tucked it up underneath there. I just thought it was cute. Just add a little bit of whimsy, but you don't like notice it right off when you look at the layout, but it's just kind of down there. I just thought it was cute. Okay, and over to this right side, right up here, this is actually a little butterfly from Petaloo collection, but I love the velvet softness of it and that color. I've got a little bit of a spray of embellishments over here, another Prima metal heart or metal clock here. I've got a little Prima metal heart gear tucked in here. I've got a little bead landing gear tucked in here. I've got a Prima resin bird here. This is from one of their older collections. I love the older, Prima Shabby Chic Treasures, Junkyard Findings embellishments. It's my favorites. And then right in here, I've got a little Prima butterfly paper clip kind of tucked here. And let's see. Okay, and then so what I did is, as I said, I've got kind of this little strip here across the middle, and then up on top of that, this is kind of my title / journaling area, as I said earlier. This is a little chipboard piece from, I believe, Stationer's Desk collection. Okay, this little quote is from the journaling card from Salvage District. And then this is a little Junkyard Findings Prima metal street sign here. So when you read it all together, it just says, special moments documented daily. Let's find a beautiful place to get lost together. I know, right? And then to kind of finish it off a little bit, I've got one of these Prima little door knocks from Frank Garcia's Memory Hardware line. And when I laid it on here, I kind of layered it intentionally so that the circle was over the word to. Even though it's not spelled correctly, it's just to kind of together, two of us together. So that's kind of just a little play on words, and that's over the TO to kind of represent the two of us. So that's kind of what I did there. Okay. Just adds a little whimsical touch. And then, as I stated earlier, I used some Rene Bouquet's glitter glass in some areas. Used it in the modeling paste of the brick wall. Used a little bit on this metal frame, on the resin frame over here. And then also, I use these beautiful little mini, M-I-N-I, so mini, miniature little glass beads, and these are also from Rene Bouquet's. They're in silver, and I use Prima's 3D matte gel to layer the glitter glass in these little mini beads, but I've got them kind of in here. I layered a little bit over here. Can you see them there? Layered them on the little ship part there. Layered it a little bit over here. It just adds, like, you know, the glitter glass does, just gives it a little bit more texture, you know, without too much. And then, did I say, I can't remember, I used the gesso, Prima's gesso. I watered it down and used a fan brush, and I splattered my project, my layout here as well, just to give it a little bit more of a soft texture to it. Okay, so there is, I think I covered everything. There is my layout. I really hope, you know, Prima likes the projects I'm going to submit. I'm going to leave my blog link down below if you want to go take a look to see if I, you know, submitted the right things. And you'll be like, ooh, Linda, you shouldn't have submitted that one. I don't know. Anyway, fingers crossed for me. I hope it's a positive result, but if not, you know, oh well, I tried. I wish everybody else luck that's trying for this design team. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.